good afternoon. As we know, India is not just building roads, ports, airports, and freight corridors anymore. India is rebuilding the very architecture of how an economy moves. And that is the difference between India 1.0 and India 2.0. So then, the question is, why now? And when you say, why now? For decades, supply chains were treated as invisible systems. They worked quietly in the background until they broke. And we had a very nice panel discussion over here which was talking about these very disruptions. Then came the pandemic, and nobody will forget the pandemic. And of course, the geopolitical conflicts that we are all living through and going through each day as we live. Then came the energy shocks. Before there was the Red Sea disruption. Now you're seeing the Strait of Hormuz. You're seeing what it is creating, what it is causing, what it's doing to the energy levels here, the semiconductor shortages, and the rising protectionism. This is something we have to see how territorial everybody has become. And suddenly the world realized something more important. Supply chains are not operational backbones anymore. They are national power. Today, countries are no longer competing through GDP growth. They are competing through logistics efficiency, manufacturing resilience, energy security, digital infrastructure, and supply chain intelligence, which was also spoken by the last panel. And India is entering this global race at exactly the right moment. Therefore, what are the signals? Let's look at the numbers. India's logistics costs have now reduced to nearly 7.97% of GDP, a significant shift from earlier double-digit estimates, and you would agree with me on that. India has also climbed to the 38th position in the World Bank Logistics Performance Index, improving steadily over the years. These, my friends, are not just statistics. These are the signals. Signals that India is moving forward from fragmented logistics to integrated logistics. In fact, what we are working on right now is one nation, one transit, and we are going to make that happen. So from reactive infrastructure to predictive infrastructure, from movement-based supply chains to intelligence-led supply chains. So how should the framework look? This transformation is being powered by three fundamental shifts, and I'm sure you're hearing about this right from the morning. The first shift is connectivity. The second shift is digital intelligence. And the third shift is resilience. Today we are talking about resilience and how resilient we can be in uncertain times. And uncertain times that will never end. Together, these three shifts are reshaping India's economic future. Let's look at connectivity. For years, India's logistics ecosystem operated in silos, and we have all witnessed it. Ports disconnected from rail, rail disconnected from road, warehouses disconnected from airports. India 2.0 is changing that, ladies and gentlemen. Through PM Gati Shakti, multimodal freight corridors, expressways, digital logistics platforms, and cargo modernization, India is creating an integrated national supply chain grid. Because in the future economy, speed alone will not matter. Synchronization will. Let's look at the second one, which is digital intelligence. This is the second shift. Artificial intelligence, everybody is talking about AI, predictive analytics, automation, IoT-enabled tracking, blockchain verification, and real-time visibility are redefining supply chains globally, and I think we all have witnessed it. The future supply chain will not only move cargo, it will anticipate disruption before disruption happens. This is most important, that it will anticipate disruption before disruption happens. And we heard of an example in the last panel. And India has a unique advantage here, scale plus technology talent. None of us will deny that. We are one of the few nations capable of combining manufacturing expansion with digital innovation at scale. And lastly, the most important pillar here is resilience. This is the biggest shift. The third shift is resilience. And perhaps the most important lesson of the last 5 years that we have been through. The cheapest supply chain is no longer considered the best supply chain. I think you will agree with me on that. The most resilient one is. Businesses today are redesigning sourcing strategies, diversifying trade routes, investing in regional manufacturing hubs, and strengthening multimodal logistics ecosystems. Why? Why may I ask that? Because resilience is now economic security. I think you would agree with me on that. Looking at aviation and air cargo, and this is where aviation and air cargo actually become critical. Air cargo today carries more than freight. You all know that. It carries speed-sensitive economies, pharmaceuticals, electronics, semiconductor components, high-value manufacturing, e-commerce that all of us are witnessing day in and day out, emergency medical supplies, and in moments of disruption, air cargo becomes the stabilizer of global commerce. Therefore, let's look at the bigger opportunity. India's opportunity is even bigger. We are not building a logistics economy. We are building a green logistics economy. The global aviation industry has committed to achieving net zero emissions by 2050, and I believe we will achieve this much before 2050. And according to IATA, sustainable aviation fuel, SAFA fuel, could contribute nearly 65% of the emission reductions needed to achieve that target. This creates a historic opportunity for India because India has agricultural strength, India has refining capability, India, of course, is witnessing aviation growth. You're seeing two big airports that have just come up at Jewar and at Navi Mumbai, which is changing the entire landscape of our country with more and more airports opening up. And of course, India has the energy ambition. Therefore, let's go to the leadership question. The question is no longer whether supply chains will change. They already are. The real question is, will India simply participate in the next global supply chain revolution, or will India lead it? I believe India can lead it and will lead it. Therefore, the mandate, leadership requires more than infrastructure. It will require policy continuity, skilled talent, digital trust, cybersecurity resilience, green investments, and above all, execution at scale. Because the future belongs to the economies that can move faster, think smarter, and recover stronger. I repeat, recover stronger. So we should not be really talking about China all the time. I would talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat. I would talk about Make in India, Made in India, and doing it in India. In closing, what I would like to say, India 2.0 is not just about becoming a manufacturing hub. It is about becoming the world's most resilient, intelligent, and future-ready economic ecosystem. And that transformation has already begun. Thank you and Jai Hind.